Welcome back to Yehusha's Glory, everybody. We're in the book of Jubilees. We're in chapter 12 on page 222. And here we go. And it came to pass in the 6th week, in the 7th year thereof, that Abram said to Terach his father, saying, Father. And he said, Behold, here I am, my son. And he said, What help and profit have we from those idols which you do worship, and before which you do bow yourself? For there is no ruach in them, for they are dumb forms and a misleading of the heart. Worship them not. Worship the Elohim of heaven, who causes the rain and the dew to descend on the earth, and does everything upon the earth, and has created everything by his word, and all life is from before his face. Why do ye worship things that have no ruach in them? For they are the work of men's hands, and on your shoulders do ye bear them, and ye have no help from them, but they are a great cause of shame to those who make them, and a misleading of the heart to those who worship them. Worship them not. And his father said unto him, I also know it, my son, but what shall I do with a people who have made me to serve before them? And if I tell them the truth, they will slay me, for their soul cleaves to them. To worship them and honor them, keep silent, my son, lest they slay you. And these words he spoke to his two brothers, and they were angry with him, and he kept silent. And in the 40th Jubilee, in the 2nd week, in the seventh year thereof, Abram took to himself a woman, and her name was Sarai, the daughter of his father, and she became his woman. And Haran, his brother, took to himself a woman in the 3rd year of the 3rd week, and she bore him a son in the 7th year of this week, and he called his name Lot. And Nachor, his brother, took to himself a woman, and in the 60th year of the life of Abram, that is, in the 4th week, in the 4th year thereof, Abram arose by night and burned the house of the idols, and he burned all that was in the house, and no man knew it. And they arose in the night and sought to save their Elohim from the midst of the fire. And Haran hastened to save them, but the fire flamed over him, and he was burnt in the fire, and he died in Ur of the Chassidim before Terach his father. And they buried him in Ur of the Chassidim. And Terach went forth from Ur of the Chassidim, he and his sons, to go into the land of Lebanon and into the land of Canaan. And he dwelt in the land of Haran. And Abram dwelt with Terach his father in Haran 2 weeks of years. And in the 6th week, in the 5th year thereof, Abram sat up throughout the night on the new moon of the 7th month to observe the stars from the evening to the morning, in order to see what would be the character of the year with regard to the rains. And he was alone as he sat and observed. And a word came into his heart, and he said, All the signs of the stars and the signs of the moon and of the sun are all in the hand of Yahuwah. Why do I search them out? If he desires, he causes it to rain morning and evening, and if he desires, he withholds it. And all things are in his hand. And he prayed that night and said, My Elohim, El Elyon, you alone are my Elohim, and you and your dominion have I chosen. And you have created all things, and all things that are the work of your hands. Deliver me from the hands of evil Ruachat, who have dominion over the thoughts of men's heart. And let them not lead me astray from you, my Elohim, and establish me and my seed forever, that we may go not astray from henceforth and forevermore. And he said, Shall I return unto of the Chassidim, who seek my face, that I may return to them? Am I to remain here in this place? The right path before you, prosper it in the hands of your servant, and that he may fulfill it, and that I may not walk in the deceitfulness of my heart. O my Elohim. And he made an end of speaking and praying, and behold, the word of Yahuwah was sent to him through me, saying, Get you up from your country, and from your kindred, and from the house of your father, unto a land which I will show you, and I shall make you a great and numerous nation. And I will bless you, and I will make your name great, and you shall be blessed in the earth, and in you shall all families of the earth be blessed. And I will bless them that bless you, and curse them that curse you. And I will be an Elohim to you and your son, and to your son's son, and to all your seed. Fear not. From henceforth and unto all generations of the earth, I am your Elohim. And Yahuwah Elohim said, Open his mouth and his ears, that he may hear and speak with his mouth, with the language which has been revealed. For it had ceased from the mouths of all the children of men from the day of the overthrow of Babel. And I opened his mouth and his ears and his lips, and I began to speak with him in Ivrit. And by the way, Ivri is Hebrew, in the tongue of the creation. And he took the Sepharim of his fathers, and these were written in Ivrit, and he transcribed them. And he began from henceforth to study them, and I made known to him that which he could not understand. And he studied them during the 6 rainy months. And it came to pass in the 7th year of the 6th week that he spoke to his father and informed him that he would leave Haran to go into the land of Canaan to see it and return to him. And Terach his father said unto him, Go in peace. May the eternal Elohim make your path straight. And Yahuwah be with you and protect you from all evil, and grant unto you grace, mercy, and favor before those who see you, and may none of the children of men have power over you to harm you. Go in peace. And if you see a land pleasant to your eyes to dwell in, then arise and take me to you, and take Lot with you, the son of Haran your brother, as your own son. Yahuwah be with you, and Nachor your brother leave with me till you return in peace, and we go with you all together. And Abram journeyed from Haran, and he took Sarai, his woman, and Lot, his brother, Haran's son, to the land of Canaan. And he came into Asher, and proceeded to Shechem, and dwelt near a lofty oak. And he saw, and behold, the land was very pleasant from the entering of Chamath to the lofty oak. And Yahuwah said to him, To you and to your seed will I give the land. And he built an altar there, and he offered thereon a burnt sacrifice to Yahuwah, who had appeared to him. And he removed from thence unto the mountain Bethel on the west, and he saw and behold, Bethel on the west, and Ai on the east. That's Ai. And he pitched a tent there. And he saw and behold, the land was very wide and good, and everything grew thereon, vines and figs and pomegranates, oaks and ilexes, and terebinths, and oil trees, and cedars, and cypresses, and date trees, and all trees of the field. And there was water on the mountains. And he blessed Yahuwah, who had led him out of Ur, of the Kasdim, and had brought him to this land. And it came to pass in the first year, in the 7th week, on the new moon of the first month, that he built an altar on this mountain and called on the name of Yahuwah. You, the eternal Elohim, are my Elohim. And he offered on the altar a burnt sacrifice unto Yahuwah, that he should be with him and not forsake him all the days of his life. And he removed from thence and went towards the Negev, and he came to Chevron, and Chevron was built at that time, and he dwelt there 2 years, and he went thence into the land of the Negev to Baaloth, and there was a famine in the land. And Abram went into Mitzrayim in the 3rd year of the week, and he dwelt in Mitzrayim 5 years before his woman was torn away from him. Now, Tanais in Mitzrayim was at that time built 7 years after Chevron, and it came to pass when Pharaoh seized Sarai, the woman of Abraham, that Yahuwah plagued Pharaoh and his house with great plagues because of Sarai, Abram's woman. And Abram was very glorious by reason of possessions in sheep and cattle and asses and horses and camels and men servants and maid servants, and in silver and gold exceedingly. And Lot also, his brother's son, was wealthy. And Pharaoh gave back Sarai, the woman of Abram. And he sent him out of the land of Mitzrayim, and he journeyed to the place where he had pitched his tent at the beginning, to the place of the altar, with Ai, on the east, and Bethel on the west. And he blessed Yahuwah Elohihu, who had brought him back in peace. And it came to pass in the 41st Jubilee, in the 3rd year of the 1st week, that he returned to this place and offered thereon a burnt sacrifice, and called on the name of Yahuwah, and said, You, El Elyon, are my Elohim forever and ever. And in the 4th year of this week, Lot parted from him, and Lot dwelt in Sedom. And the men of Sedom were sinners exceedingly. And it grieved him in his heart that his brother's son had parted from him, for he had no children. In that year, when Lot was taken captive, Yahuwah said unto Abram, after that Lot had parted from him, in the 4th year of this week, Lift up your eyes from the place where you are dwelling, northward and southward, and westward and eastward, for all the land which you see I will give to you and to your seed forever, and I will make your seed as the sand of the sea. Though a man may number the dust of the earth, yet your seed shall not be numbered. Arise, walk through the land in the length of it and the breadth of it, and see it all, for to your seed will I give it. And Abram went to Chevron and dwelt there, and in this year came Kedorlaomer, king of Elam, and Amraphel, king of Shinar, and Arioch, king of Elachar, and Tidal, king of nations, and slew the king of Amorah, and the king of Sedom fled, and many fell through wounds in the valley of Siddim by the salt sea. And they took captive Sedom and Adam and Sevolim, and they took captive Lot also, the son of Abram's brother, and all his possessions, and they went to Dan. And one who had escaped came and told Abram that his brother's son had been taken captive, and Abram armed his household servants for Abram and for his seed 1/10 of the first fruits to Yahuwah, and Yahuwah ordained it as an ordinance forever that they should give it to the priests who serve before him, and they should possess it forever. And to this Torah There is no limit of days, for he has ordained it for the generations forever, that they should give to Yahuwah the tenth of everything, of the seed, and of the wine, and of the oil, and of the cattle, and of the sheep. And he gave it unto his priests to eat and to drink with joy before him. And the king of Sedom came to him and bowed himself before him and said, Our lord Abram, give unto us the souls which you have rescued, but let the booty be yours. And Abram said unto him, I lift up my hands to El Elyon, that from a thread to a shoe latchet I shall not take anything that is yours, lest you should say, I have made Abram rich, save only what the young men have eaten, and the portion of the men who went with me, Aner, Eshcol, and Mamre. These shall take their portion. After these things, in the 4th year of this week, on the new moon of the 3rd month, the word of Yahuwah came to Abram in a dream, saying, Fear not, Abram, I am your defender, and your reward will be exceeding great. And he said, Yahuwah, what will you give me, seeing I go hence childless, and the son of Masech, the son of my handmaid, is the Damascan, Eleazar. He will be my heir, and to me you have given no seed. And he said unto him, This man will not be your heir, but one that will come out of your own bowels, he will be your heir. And he brought him forth abroad, and said unto him, Look toward heaven, and number the stars, if you are able to number them. And he looked toward heaven, and beheld the stars, and he said unto him, So shall your seed be. And he believed in Yahuwah, and it was counted to him for righteousness. And he said unto him, I am Yahuwah, that brought you out of Ur of the Kasdim, to give you the land of the Canaanite, to possess it forever, and I will be Elohim unto you, and to your seed after you. And he said, Yahuwah, whereby shall I know that I shall inherit it? And he said unto him, Take me a heifer of 3 years, and a goat of 3 years, and a sheep of 3 years, and a turtle dove, and a pigeon. And he took all those in the middle of the month, and he dwelt at the oak of Mamre, which is near Chevron. And he built there an altar, and sacrificed all these. And he poured their blood upon the altar, and divided them in the midst, and laid them over against each other. But the birds divided he not. And the birds came down upon the pieces, and Abram drove them away, and did not suffer the birds to touch them. And it came to pass, when the sun had set, that an ecstasy fell upon Abram, and lo, a horror of great darkness fell upon him. And it was said unto Abram, Know of a surety that your seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs, and they shall bring them into bondage and afflict them 400 years. And the nation also to whom they will be in bondage will I judge. And after that they shall come forth thence with much substance, and you shall go to your fathers in peace, and be buried in a good old age. But in the 4th generation they shall return hither, for the iniquity of the Amorim is not yet full. And he awoke from his sleep, and he arose, and the sun had set, and there was a flame, and behold, a furnace was smoking, and a flame of fire passed between the pieces. And on that day Yahuwah made a covenant with Abram, saying, To your seed will I give this land, from the river of Mitzrayim unto the great river, the river Perath, the Canaanite, the Kenizim, the Kadmonim, the Perizim, and the Rephaim, the Pachorim and the Shivaim, and the Emorim and the Kenan Aim, and the Girgashim, and the Yevusim. And the day passed, and Abram offered the pieces and the birds and their fruit offerings and their drink offerings, and the fire devoured them. And on that day we made a covenant with Abram, according as we had covenanted with Noah in this month. And Abram renewed the feast and ordinance for himself forever. And Abram rejoiced and made all these things known to Sarai his woman, and he believed that he would have seed, but she did not bear. And Sarai advised her man Abram, and said unto him, Go in unto Hagar, my Mitzrayim maid. It may be that I shall build up seed unto you by her. And Abram hearkened unto the voice of Sarai his woman, and said unto her, Do so. And Sarai took Hagar her maid, the Mitzrayim, and gave her to Abram her man to be his woman. And he went in unto her, and she conceived and bore him a son. And he called his name Yishmael, in the 5th year of this week. And this was the 86th year in the life of Abram. And in the 5th year of the 4th week of this Jubilee, in the 3rd month, in the middle of the month, Abram celebrated the feast of the first fruits of the grain harvest, and he offered new offerings on the altar, the first fruits of the produce unto Yehusha, a heifer and a goat and a sheep on the altar as a burnt sacrifice unto Yehusha, their fruit offerings, and also, and their drink offerings be offered upon the altar with frankincense. And Yehusha appeared to Abram and said unto him, I am El Shaddai. Walk before me and be perfect, and I will make my covenant between me and you, and I will multiply you exceedingly. And Abram fell on his face, and Elohim talked with him and said, Behold, my ordinance is with you, and you shall be the father of many nations. Neither shall your name any more be called Abram, but your name from henceforth, even forever, shall be Abraham. For the father of many nations have I made you. And I will make you very great, and I will make you into nations, and kings shall come forth from you, and I shall establish my covenant between me and you, and your seed after you, throughout their generations, for an eternal covenant, so that I may be an Elohim unto you, and to your seed after you. And unto the land where you have been a sojourner, the land of Canaan, that you may possess it forever, and I will be their Elohim. And Yehusha said unto Abraham, And as for you, do not guard my covenant, you and your seed after you, and circumcise ye every male among you, and circumcise your foreskins, and it shall be a sign of an eternal covenant between me and you. And the child on the 8th day ye shall circumcise every male throughout your generations, him that is born in the house, or whom ye have bought with money from any stranger, whom ye have acquired, who is not of your seed. He that is born in your house shall surely be circumcised, and those whom you have bought with money shall be circumcised. And my covenant shall be in your flesh for an eternal ordinance. And the uncircumcised male who is not circumcised in the flesh of his foreskin on the 8th day, that soul shall be cut off from his people, for he has broken my covenant. And Elohim said unto Abram, As for Sarai your woman, her name shall no more be called Sarai, but Sarah shall be her name, and I will bless her and give you a son by her, and I will bless him, and he shall become a nation, and kings of nations shall proceed from him. And Abraham fell on his face and rejoiced, and said in his heart, Shall a son be born to him that is 100 years old? And shall Sarah, who is 90 years old, bring forth? And Abraham said unto Elohim, Oh, that Ishmael might live before you. And Elohim said, Yea, and Sarah also shall bear you a son, and you shall call his name Yitzhak. And I will establish my covenant with him, an everlasting covenant, and for his seed after him. And as for Ishmael, also have I heard you, and behold, I will bless him, and make him great, and multiply him exceedingly. And he shall beget 12 princes, and I will make him a great nation. But my covenant will I establish with Yitzhak, whom Sarah shall bear to you in these days, in the next year. And he left off speaking with him, and Elohim went up from Abraham. And Abraham did according as Elohim had said unto him. And he took Ishmael his son, and all that were born in his house, and whom he had bought with his money, every male in the house, and circumcised the flesh of their foreskin. And on the selfsame day was Abraham circumcised, and all the men of his house, and all those whom he had bought with money from the children of the stranger, were circumcised with him. This Torah is for all the generations forever. And there is no circumcision of the days, and no omission of one day out of the 8 days, for it is an eternal ordinance, ordained and written on the heavenly tablets. And everyone that is born, the flesh of whose foreskin is not circumcised on the 8th day, belongs not to the children of the covenant which Yahuwah made with Abraham, but to the children of destruction. Nor is there, moreover, any sign on him that he is Yahuwah's, but he is destined to be destroyed and slain from the earth, and to be rooted out of the earth, for he has broken the covenant of Yahuwah Eloheinu. For all the angels of the presence and all the angels of sanctification have been so created from the day of their creation, and before the angels of the presence and the angels of sanctification, he has sanctified Israel, that they should be with him and with his holy angels. And do you command the children of Israel, and let them observe the sign of this covenant for their generations as an eternal ordinance, and they will not be rooted out of the land. For the command is ordained for a covenant, that they should observe it forever among all the children of Israel. For Ishmael and his sons and his brothers and Esau, Yahuwah did not cause to approach him, and he chose them not, because they are the children of Abraham, because he knew them, but he chose Israel to be his people. And he sanctified it and gathered it from amongst all the children of men, for there are many nations and many peoples, and all are his. And over all has he placed Ruachat in authority to lead them astray from him. But over Israel he did not appoint any angel or Ruach, for he alone is their ruler. And he will guard them and require them at the hand of his angels and his Ruachat, and at the hand of all his powers, in order that he may guard them and bless them, and that may be, oh my goodness, I have to stop right now and just back up, and let's read this whole section through here again. Amazing. I'm sorry to get like this, but he just said, and do you command the children of Israel, and let them observe the sign of this covenant for their generations as an eternal ordinance, and they will not be rooted out of the land. For the command is ordained for a covenant, that they should observe it forever among all the children of Israel. For Yishmael, not Israel, but Yishmael, and his sons, and his brothers, and Esau, Yahuwah did not cause to approach him. And he chose them not, because they are the children of Abraham, because he knew them, but he chose Yisrael, to be his people. And he sanctified it and gathered it from amongst all the children of men. For there are many nations and many peoples, and all are his, and over all has he placed Ruach in authority to lead them astray from him. But over Israel he did not appoint any angel or Ruach, for he alone is their ruler, and he will guard them and require them of the hand of his angels, and his Ruach at the hand of his angels, that he may guard them and bless them, and that they may be his, and he may be theirs from henceforth forever. And now I announce unto you that the children of Israel will not guard true to this ordinance, and they will not circumcise their sons according to all this Torah. For in the flesh of their circumcision, they will omit this circumcision of their sons, and all of them, sons of Belial, will leave their sons uncircumcised as they were born, and there will be great wrath from Yahuwah against the children of Israel, because they have forsaken his covenant and turned aside from his word and provoked and blasphemed, inasmuch as they do not observe the ordinance of this Torah. For they have treated their members like the other people, so that they may be removed and rooted out of the land, and there will no more be pardon or forgiveness unto them, so that there should be forgiveness and pardon for all the sin of this eternal error. Okay, I guess that'll do it for now. I want to thank you very much for being here. That was a pretty deep read. I know there's some of you out there. I just want to pray for some of you. Me personally, I just want to let you know, just because I'm leading this reading and it seems like you guys are coming in and listening, I need your support just as much as you need mine. So knowing that you're out there listening and knowing that Father has brought you here to listen, and that I'm able to do something for Father, it's the only thing really that makes my day. It's the biggest thing that I'm doing that makes me feel like I'm serving him. So I want to thank you for being here. I also want to thank Father for giving me the drive to do this. The encouragement you all give me, I pray that sometimes I'll get encouragement from you all, and then I'll get messages from you. I want to really thank you for that. It's hard to kind of keep going. Sometimes life gets in my way, just like life gets in your way. So with that in mind, anybody that's out there, I know there's got to be a few of us out there that we need the group of us to come and pray for. I just want to say, Father Yahuwah, watch over all of us. There are some of us out here that are doing really well. Some of us are struggling. We all need you. We ask that you put your hands around us, protect us from all of our enemies, shield us from our weaknesses, hold us up in the face of the adversity and the bad decisions that we might come across. Take away any of our wicked temptations, or make us more mature and heal us so that we understand our errors. Father, if we do slip and slide and do the wrong thing, obviously we do want you to forgive us for that and let us start each day new. Every day we can start again. We love you so much. We know that we only have these temptations and sin in the flesh. We know that when we're in the Spirit with you in heaven, we won't have to deal with that problem anymore. We ask you now that you please help us to become better children for you while we're in this flesh suffering. And we do so wholeheartedly with all our soul, face down on the ground before your throne forever. We pray to you in the name of Yehusha. We love you with all our heart and soul. Use us. Make us do what you want. Put your hands on our shoulders. Push us in the direction you want us. Don't let us veer left or right. Make us do what you want. Make us speak the words you want. Protect our families and make us fruitful for you to glorify you alone. And if you do that, that's all we ask, that you're happy with us. And that makes us happy. We sure love you much, very much. Well, I guess that's it. Bless you all. In Yehusha's name, we pray. Thank you, Father. All right, we'll see you next time on Yehusha's Glory. Take care.